What if I told you that the single greatest threat to your success in 2025 isn't what you lack, but what you refuse to let go of? Not the challenges outside you, but the invisible chains you've forged within. These chains are habits, small, unnoticed patterns that shape the course of your life more than any external force ever could. The ancient Stoics believed that mastery of life begins with mastery of the self. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Yet how can you claim this power when your mind is burdened with habits that drain your energy, cloud your focus, and erode your potential? These habits are subtle saboteurs. They don't announce themselves loudly or demand immediate attention. Instead, they creep in quietly, disguising themselves as harmless routines or even virtues. Left unchecked, they define the limits of your life, stealing your time, your peace, and your future. But here's the truth: you don't have to carry them into 2025. You can leave them behind. You can wipe the slate clean. Today we're diving deep, not into what you should add to your life, but into what you must delete. The 10 habits we'll uncover are not just behaviors, they're mental prisons. And by recognizing and breaking free from them, you open the door to a life of purpose, clarity, and true strength. This isn't a surface-level conversation. It's a challenge. A call to arms for the wisdom seekers who understand that transformation begins where comfort ends. The journey will be uncomfortable, even confronting. But as Seneca reminds us, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Together, we'll confront these 10 habits and dismantle them, one by one. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every like, subscribe helps us continue our mission of sharing knowledge. Are you ready to step into the year unburdened, with a sharper mind and a freer spirit? Let's begin. Habit 1. The habit of excuses. Excuses are the subtle killers of ambition. They slip into our minds, often unnoticed, like whispers that promise us safety but deliver stagnation. How often have you heard yourself say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm just not ready yet"? These phrases may seem harmless, even logical, but they are the foundations of a prison you build for yourself. And the worst part? The bars of that prison are invisible. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus famously taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Notice the directness in his words. There's no room for hesitation, no allowance for excuses. The Stoics believe that the path to virtue and greatness begins with action, not delay. Excuses, they argued, are lies we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. But discomfort is where growth happens. Ask yourself, what have you avoided because you've convinced yourself you're not ready? Is it that project you've been meaning to start, the book you've always wanted to write, or the fitness goals that seem perpetually out of reach? Every excuse you make is a delay of your own evolution. And here's the bitter truth. Time doesn't wait for you to feel ready. The present moment is all you have. And every excuse is a theft of that moment. But why do we make excuses? The root of this habit often lies in fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even fear of success. We disguise this fear as rationality, telling ourselves stories about why now isn't the right time. Seneca, another great Stoic, wrote, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Your excuses aren't barriers. They are reflections of your unwillingness to confront discomfort. Deleting the habit of excuses begins with accountability. Start by recognizing when you're making one. Write it down. Analyze it. Ask yourself, is this excuse protecting me, or is it holding me back? Replace the excuse with a commitment to action. If you're afraid of starting, start small. The act of beginning, no matter how imperfect, is infinitely more valuable than the perfection of hesitation. The Stoics didn't just preach resilience, they lived it. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled as Emperor of Rome, wrote in his Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." There's a raw simplicity to this message. Stop explaining why you can't and start proving why you can. By erasing the habit of excuses, you step into a life of agency. You take control of your narrative and begin living with intention. Excuses will still arise, they're human, but you'll recognize them for what they are: distractions. In 2025, commit to leaving them behind. Your future self will thank you. Habit 2. The habit of seeking validation. Deep within us, there's a yearning to be seen, to be valued, to be approved of. This desire is not inherently bad. It's part of our nature as social beings. But when it becomes a driving force, when our decisions and sense of self-worth hinge on the opinions of others, we hand over the keys to our own happiness. The habit of seeking validation is one of the most insidious traps because it masquerades as connection while eroding our autonomy. The Stoics understood this danger well. Epictetus warned, "If you are ever tempted to look for outside approval, realize that you have compromised your integrity. If you need a witness, be your own." Seeking validation shifts your focus outward, placing your sense of worth in the hands of people who may not understand, appreciate, or even care about your values. Think about it. How many times have you hesitated to pursue a goal or express an opinion because you feared judgment? How often have you looked to social media, colleagues, or even friends for a sense of approval that feels fleeting at best? This constant seeking creates a cycle of dependency. The more you rely on external validation, the less you trust your own judgment, and the more vulnerable you become to manipulation. The modern world amplifies this habit. Social media platforms are designed to feed off our craving for likes, comments, and shares. But as Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." How much time do we spend curating an image for others while neglecting the person we truly are? To delete this habit, you must first reconnect with yourself. Begin by asking, who am I without the applause of others? What do I value, independent of society's expectations? Journaling can be a powerful tool here. Write down your thoughts, your fears, and your goals, raw and unfiltered. The act of putting pen to paper forces you to confront yourself honestly. Next, practice detachment. This doesn't mean becoming indifferent or antisocial. It means recognizing that other people's opinions are just that, opinions. They don't define you. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Instead of seeking validation, seek understanding. Let feedback inform you, not control you. Finally, cultivate self-respect. This is the antidote to the validation habit. When you respect yourself, your values, your efforts, your journey, you no longer need constant reassurance. You become grounded, confident, and free. Remember, the world's approval is fickle, but the approval you give yourself is enduring. In 2025, make a vow to live authentically. Let go of the habit of seeking validation and embrace the freedom of being unapologetically you. Habit 3. The habit of neglecting the present. If there's one truth the Stoics held above all else, it's this. The present moment is all we have. Yet how often do we squander it? We replay the past, dwelling on regrets and missed opportunities. Or we fast forward to the future, consumed by worry and what-ifs. Neglecting the present is a habit that robs us of life itself, for life exists only here and now. Marcus Aurelius captured this sentiment beautifully. Confine yourself to the present. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. When we neglect the present, we not only miss its beauty, but also its potential. Every goal, every achievement, every moment of joy begins in the now. By ignoring it, we cut ourselves off from the very source of our power. But why do we neglect the present? Part of it lies in the human tendency to seek control. The past feels familiar. The future feels like an opportunity to prepare. The present, in contrast, feels uncertain. It requires us to confront life as it is, not as we wish it to be. And so we avoid it, thinking we'll return to it later, after we've resolved our regrets or secured our plans. This habit is a form of self-deception. Seneca warned us against it, writing, "While we are postponing, life speeds by. The moments we overlook in our rush to somewhere else are moments we never get back." Breaking this habit starts with awareness. Pay attention to when your mind drifts to the past or the future. Catch yourself. Bring your focus back to the present moment. Simple practices like deep breathing or mindful observation can help anchor you. When you eat, truly taste your food. When you listen to someone, really hear their words. These small acts of mindfulness are powerful antidotes to neglect. Another strategy is gratitude. Gratitude pulls you into the present by highlighting the abundance that already surrounds you. As Marcus Aurelius advised, do not dwell on the past or dream of the future, but focus your mind on the present moment and be content with what you have. Gratitude is not about ignoring challenges. It's about recognizing that, even amid struggle, there's always something to appreciate. Finally, embrace the impermanence of life. The Stoics often meditated on mortality, not to inspire fear, but to inspire presence. Knowing that every moment is finite gives it weight and meaning. When you realize that the present is not just a fleeting second, but the essence of life itself, you stop neglecting it. As you step into 2025, remember, the future you're striving for will one day be the present. If you cannot cherish the now, you'll never truly cherish the later. Delete the habit of neglecting the present and reclaim the fullness of your life. Habit 4. The habit of comparing yourself to others. Comparison is a thief, and what it steals is joy. Yet, in today's hyper-connected world, it's almost impossible to avoid. You see someone's success on social media, their perfect family photos, or their career milestones, and before you know it, you're measuring yourself against their highlight reel. This habit of comparison might seem harmless at first, but it corrodes your self-worth, breeds resentment, and clouds your ability to appreciate your own journey. The Stoics understood the futility of comparison long before our modern world made it an epidemic. Epictetus observed, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because personal growth is not about being better than someone else. It's about being better than you were yesterday. The moment you compare yourself to others, you shift your focus outward, losing sight of your own path. What makes comparison so destructive is that it's inherently flawed. When you compare, you only see a fragment of the other person's reality. You don't see their struggles, insecurities, or sacrifices. You're comparing your full, unfiltered life to their curated image, and it's an unfair contest. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect." In other words, no external achievement is worth sacrificing your inner peace. But why do we fall into the trap of comparison? At its root, it's driven by insecurity and a desire for validation. When we feel uncertain about our worth or direction, we look to others as benchmarks. But this only leads to dissatisfaction, because there will always be someone ahead of you in some way. The Stoics would argue that true contentment comes not from looking outward, but inward. It's about mastering your mind, not outperforming others. To delete the habit of comparison, you must reframe how you view others' successes. Instead of seeing them as a threat, see them as inspiration. If someone achieves something you admire, let it motivate you to strive for your own version of excellence, on your terms. Remember, their success doesn't diminish yours. Next, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have. When you appreciate your own journey, the allure of comparison fades. Seneca wisely noted, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears, but to rest satisfied with what we have." By practicing gratitude, you break free from the cycle of envy and embrace your own life fully. Finally, set your own standards. Define what success means to you, not based on society's metrics or someone else's accomplishments, but based on your values. When you live according to your own standards, you're no longer swayed by the achievements of others. You become grounded, resilient, and fulfilled. In 2025, make it your mission to delete the habit of comparison. Your life is your own, and no one else's journey can diminish the beauty of that truth. Habit 5. The habit of overthinking. Overthinking is a mental spiral, a maze with no exit. It feels productive. After all, you're analyzing or planning, but in reality, it traps you in a cycle of indecision and anxiety. The Stoics referred to this tendency as the mind's tendency to wander, and they saw it as one of the greatest barriers to inner peace. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Overthinking strips you of this power. Instead of acting, you get stuck in endless scenarios, what-ifs, and imagined outcomes. You paralyze yourself with possibilities, fearing failure, rejection, or the unknown. But here's the irony. In trying to avoid failure, you fail to act altogether. Why do we overthink? It often stems from a fear of making the wrong decision. We believe that if we think long enough, we can eliminate risk. But life is inherently uncertain, and no amount of overthinking will change that. Seneca warned, We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Most of the scenarios you obsess over will never happen, yet they rob you of the peace and clarity you need to face what does happen. To delete the habit of overthinking, you must embrace action. The Stoics valued decisiveness. They believed that hesitation wastes the precious resource of time. Epictetus advised, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." This means taking action, even if it's imperfect. Start small and let momentum build your confidence. Another powerful tool against overthinking is mindfulness. When your mind starts to spiral, bring your focus back to the present moment. Ask yourself, what can I do right now? Action breaks the loop of overthinking because it shifts your energy from analysis to execution. Remember, clarity often comes through doing, not thinking. Finally, practice acceptance. Overthinking is rooted in a desire for control, but control is an illusion. The Stoics taught the concept of amor fati, or loving one's fate. This means embracing whatever happens, good or bad, as part of the natural order. When you accept that some things are beyond your control, you free yourself from the need to overanalyze them. In 2025, commit to freeing your mind from the shackles of overthinking. Make decisions, take action, and trust that you have the strength to handle whatever comes next. As the Stoics remind us, life is too short to waste in endless deliberation. Habit 6. The habit of neglecting your health. Your body is the vessel through which you experience life. Yet, how often do we treat it with neglect? Late nights, poor diets, lack of movement, we justify these choices with excuses like, "I'm too busy," or "I'll start next week." But as the years pass, these habits compound, leaving us weaker, sicker, and further from the vitality we need to live fully. The Stoics placed immense value on physical health. Epictetus stated, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Mastery of the self includes mastery of the body. The Stoics saw health not as an end in itself, but as a foundation for living virtuously. When you neglect your health, you limit your ability to think clearly, act decisively, and face life's challenges with resilience. But why do we neglect our health? Often, it's because the consequences aren't immediate. Poor choices today don't seem to matter until they add up over time. Seneca warned against this illusion, writing, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Neglecting your health is one of the most insidious forms of waste because it robs you of the energy and years you could otherwise enjoy. To delete this habit, you must first redefine your relationship with health. See it not as a chore, but as an investment in your future self. Small, consistent actions, like regular exercise, balanced meals, and adequate sleep, pay dividends in longevity, strength, and mental clarity. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What injures the hive injures the bee." Neglecting your health doesn't just harm you, it diminishes your ability to contribute to the world. Start by building routines. The Stoics believed in discipline as a cornerstone of a good life. Create habits that prioritize your well-being, even when it's inconvenient. Choose activities that you enjoy, whether it's walking, swimming, or practicing yoga. The key is consistency, not perfection. Next, cultivate awareness. Pay attention to how your body feels. Are you tired, sluggish, or in pain? These are signals, not nuisances. Listen to them and make adjustments. The Stoics taught that wisdom begins with observation, and your body is no exception. Finally, remember your mortality. The Stoics often meditated on death, not as a morbid exercise, but as a reminder to live fully. Take care of your body because it is finite, and its strength is a gift. By honoring your physical health, you honor life itself. In 2025, let go of the habit of neglecting your health. Your body is your partner in this journey, and by caring for it, you create a foundation for greatness. Habit 7. The habit of procrastination. Procrastination is the art of convincing yourself that tomorrow is a better day to begin. It disguises itself as harmless delay, yet it steals the most precious resource you possess, time. The Stoics warned against this habit with a sense of urgency that resonates through the ages. Seneca famously wrote, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." In other words, we waste time as if we have an infinite supply, but life is finite and fleeting. Why do we procrastinate? Often it's not laziness, but fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, or even fear of success. Starting something new requires confronting uncertainty, and our minds are wired to avoid discomfort. We tell ourselves, "I'll do it later," because later feels safer. But the Stoics understood that delaying action only magnifies anxiety. The task looms larger in your mind, and the effort required to begin feels even heavier. The consequences of procrastination aren't just lost opportunities, they're lost growth. Marcus Aurelius urged, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Every moment you delay is a moment you can never reclaim. Procrastination isn't just a habit, it's a form of self-betrayal, a denial of your own potential. To delete procrastination, you must first acknowledge its root causes. Are you avoiding a task because it feels overwhelming? Break it into smaller steps. The Stoics believed in focusing only on what is within your control. You don't need to complete everything at once, you just need to take the next step. Another strategy is to adopt the principle of memento mori, a reminder of mortality. Reflect on the fact that your time is limited, and that every moment wasted is a moment stolen from your future. Seneca advised, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Let this truth motivate you to act now rather than later. Discipline is the ultimate antidote to procrastination. Develop routines that anchor your day. Begin with the hardest task first, when your energy and focus are at their peak. The Stoics valued consistency over bursts of effort. Epictetus taught, "Progress is not achieved by luck or accident, but by working on yourself daily." Make action a daily practice, and you'll find that procrastination loses its grip. In 2025, resolve to stop postponing your life. The future is not guaranteed, and the present is all you have. Delete procrastination and take ownership of your time. Every step you take brings you closer to the person you're meant to become. Habit 8. The habit of holding grudges. Grudges are a poison we drink, hoping someone else will suffer. They weigh heavily on the mind, occupying space that could be filled with peace, clarity, and joy. The Stoics viewed resentment as one of the most destructive emotions, not because it harms others, but because it corrodes the soul of the one who holds it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Why do we hold grudges? Often, it's because we feel wronged and want justice. But the Stoics believed that clinging to anger or resentment only deepens our suffering. Seneca wrote, "Anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it." When you hold a grudge, you give power to the very person or situation that hurt you. You become a prisoner of your own resentment, chained to the past. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is not about excusing bad behavior or forgetting what happened. It's about freeing yourself from the burden of anger. The Stoics taught that you cannot control how others act, but you can control how you respond. Epictetus advised, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Forgiveness is an act of reclaiming your power. To delete the habit of holding grudges, start by practicing empathy. Try to understand the perspective of the person who wronged you. This doesn't mean condoning their actions, but recognizing that humans are flawed and mistakes are inevitable. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question: what fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize?" By acknowledging your own imperfections, you soften the grip of resentment. Next, let go of the illusion of control. You cannot change the past, and seeking vengeance rarely brings the satisfaction you expect. Instead, focus on what you can control, your own mindset. Shift your energy from dwelling on the hurt to building a life that fulfills you. Forgiveness is not a gift to the other person, it's a gift to yourself. Finally, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude and resentment cannot coexist. When you focus on the blessings in your life, the sting of past wrongs diminishes. As Seneca wrote, "A great mind is above insults, injustice, or wrongs." Let gratitude elevate you above the pettiness of grudges, and you'll find peace. In 2025, make it your mission to free yourself from the habit of holding grudges. Let go of anger and embrace the serenity that comes with forgiveness. Your mind deserves the space to focus on what truly matters. Habit 9. The habit of saying yes to everything. Saying yes can feel like a virtue. It makes you agreeable, helpful, and well-liked. But when you say yes to everything, you stretch yourself too thin, losing sight of your priorities and values. The Stoics would see this as a failure to assert control over your own life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference." Saying yes to everything means valuing everything equally, which is a recipe for chaos. Why do we struggle to say no? For many, it stems from a fear of disappointing others or appearing selfish. But this fear is misplaced. Every yes you give to someone else is a no you give to yourself. Overcommitting leads to stress, burnout, and resentment, not only toward others but toward yourself for allowing it to happen. The Stoics believed that wisdom lies in discernment, the ability to distinguish what is truly important from what is not. Epictetus advised, "Know first who you are, and then adorn yourself accordingly." Saying yes to everything is a sign that you haven't clarified your own values. When you lack a strong sense of purpose, you become a servant to the demands of others. To delete this habit, start by understanding your priorities. What truly matters to you? What aligns with your goals and values? When you have a clear sense of purpose, it becomes easier to say no to what doesn't serve it. Seneca encouraged this clarity, writing, "Associate only with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." Be selective with your commitments, choosing only those that contribute to your growth. Next, practice saying no with confidence. This doesn't mean being rude or dismissive. You can decline with grace, expressing appreciation for the opportunity while firmly setting boundaries. Remember, saying no to one thing allows you to say yes to what truly matters. Finally, embrace the power of solitude. The Stoics valued time alone as a way to reflect, recharge, and deepen their connection to their inner selves. Marcus Aurelius observed, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." By learning to be comfortable with solitude, you reduce your need to seek validation through overcommitment. In 2025, delete the habit of saying yes to everything. Protect your time, your energy, and your peace. By setting boundaries, you create space for what truly matters, and you honor the life you're meant to live. Habit 10. The habit of resisting change. Change is the only constant in life, yet it's the one thing so many of us resist. We cling to what is familiar, even when it no longer serves us. We fear the unknown, convincing ourselves that staying the same is safer, easier, or more comfortable. But as the Stoics taught, resisting change is to resist the flow of life itself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change." The Stoics understood that growth and transformation are essential to existence. Just as seasons shift and rivers flow, so too must we evolve. Resisting change doesn't stop it, it only leaves us unprepared to adapt. Why do we resist change? Often it's rooted in fear. Fear of failure, fear of losing control, or fear of stepping into the unfamiliar. But here's the paradox: the more we resist, the more painful the transition becomes. Change is inevitable, and our resistance only amplifies our suffering. Seneca warned, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Growth requires discomfort, and embracing change is the first step. To delete the habit of resisting change, start by reframing how you perceive it. Instead of seeing change as a threat, view it as an opportunity. Each change, whether welcome or not, carries with it the potential for growth, learning, and new beginnings. Epictetus advised, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do, and you will go on well." This mindset transforms resistance into acceptance. Next, cultivate resilience. Resilience is not the ability to avoid change, but the ability to adapt to it. Strengthen your resilience by focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and attitudes. When faced with uncertainty, ask yourself, what is within my power to influence? By channeling your energy into proactive solutions, you regain a sense of agency. Finally, practice gratitude for the changes you've already experienced. Reflect on past challenges and how they shaped you into the person you are today. The Stoics often meditated on impermanence, recognizing that life's transient nature is what makes it precious. As Marcus Aurelius observed, loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight. By appreciating change, you open yourself to its transformative power. In 2025, resolve to embrace change instead of resisting it. Let go of the illusion of permanence and step boldly into the flow of life. By doing so, you align yourself with the wisdom of the Stoics and the natural rhythm of the universe. Final thoughts. A year of renewal. As you prepare to enter 2025, remember that deleting these 10 habits is not about perfection, it's about progress. The Stoics remind us that the journey to a virtuous life is a continuous process. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Each habit you let go of creates space for something greater: clarity, purpose, and strength. Deleting excuses frees you to act. Letting go of validation empowers you to live authentically. Embracing the present reconnects you with the here and now. Each habit we've discussed is a weight you no longer need to carry, a shackle you can unlock with courage and intention. In the year ahead, take inspiration from the Stoics' timeless wisdom. Practice resilience, cultivate discipline, choose freedom over fear, and virtue over vice. As Seneca reminded us, begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. Each day is a new opportunity to grow, evolve, and become the person you are meant to be. To all my wisdom seekers, this is your call to action. The habits you delete in 2025 will define the life you create. Let go of what holds you back and step boldly into a year of renewal, strength, and purpose. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Together, let's make 2025 a year of transformation and wisdom. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and continue seeking the truth.